Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin in Tucson, Arizona with a review of the Carson City Mint Coin Show and maybe a review of Carson City, maybe some food reviews, maybe a car review. Let's review everything, shall we? And in the meantime, really quick, just want to let you know that the Tucson Coin Show, TucsonCoinShow.com, you can get direct flights by Southwest, I think from LA, Vegas, Denver, Chicago, Dallas, and hope to see you in January. We're going to have a really nice lineup of dealers. We're going to have rooms for $139 to $159 a night plus tax. And for those of you traveling by RV, you get 10% off their RV, but they have their own RV park at the Casino del Sol. Looking forward to seeing you. Okay, on to the show, the really big show, Carson City, Nevada. Have you been there? It's lovely. It reminds me a ton of Northern Arizona. It's a beautiful, beautiful area, and I highly recommend it just in general to go to. But hopefully next year, there will be a show next year. I've been told there'll be a show next year, and hopefully next year I'll get to go and you'll get to go and we'll get to meet in Carson City. I've learned a lot about the Mint while I was there. I learned a lot about geography while I was there because I didn't realize that Carson City, Nevada is only 2 hours from Sacramento, California, which is interesting because to me, those places are just like worlds apart. But then again, my experience with Nevada is like most people's, which is Vegas, baby, Vegas. And so to be able to go there in Carson City was really nice. It was September and the temperatures were 80-ish, 75, 80 for the highs, 45 to 55 for the lows, and very pretty, which is kind of like Tucson weather in January. So apparently, if you live up in that Carson City, Reno area, you probably have winter. So I can't wait to see you in January in Tucson for the coin show we have here. It'll be a good time. All right. So this show is what you'd call a boutique show. A boutique show, it's something that's very small. There are only 12 dealers in all. I feel like I could fit the whole show in my coin shop, just about, pretty close. I mean, they had a little bit more space than probably is in our little showroom in here, right? So, but 12 dealers with each one with just one single 8-foot table. And it was really a cool event. And so let me talk to you a little bit about a smaller show and what it's like, and whether it's the good, the bad, the ugly. Okay. So when you only have 12 dealers, you have what I consider to be a much better customer experience. It also ends up being I think, a better dealer experience. For me, being able to interact with customers, it's a lot easier to show this size than at a show where you have 500 dealers, some huge amount of dealers, and you've got huge attendance of thousands of people, and there's people coming by here and there and there. I'm thinking of the Central State Show, and you always kind of feel like you might be missing someone, or people come by your table and they look and they're like, okay, well, you're busy, so I'm going to go, and they don't come back around. Well, at this show, if someone's busy with a customer, you just go and you wait, like that they'll be back around, because everyone who kind of walked into that hall had a chance to look at everything that was there, and it's really a nice experience for both the customer and the dealer. So that is, to me, always a plus of these boutique size shows. If you're going to be there and just look around and have time to ask all the questions you want to ask and get them answered. The other thing about this show that is really a plus is getting to see the mint. Now, in Nevada, this is the State Museum. Carson City is the state capital. And so it has more than just the U.S. Mint history. In fact, a lot of people who are from Nevada don't really consider it the Mint Museum like I do. It's just called the State Museum. And I actually had a few people there that said, was this also the Mint? Because they were there because it was the state capital museum. And there's a lot of very, very cool things to see at the Mint. And for a coin collector, though, to go to a coin show inside the United States Mint in this beautiful old building, to get to see the #1 press, to get to see them operate the #1 press. I know it operates differently than it did 150 years ago, but it's so cool and definitely worth checking out. And of course, if you like history in general, that whole area is very historic. You're a half an hour from Virginia City, and you're close to Tahoe if you want to do some more vacation stuff. But it's very, very neat in general, both the vicinity and the history. So there's a big plus to going to this particular boutique show. I think one of the minuses, is that you probably don't have quite the selection of coins that you would at a larger coin show. So for a lot of the dealers, not many of the dealers brought, how would I put this? Not many of the dealers had raw coins with them. So that was something though that our neighbors, Americana over at Coin, had a few double row boxes of raw coins, which was nice because they did a lot of business out of those boxes because there were collectors for that type of material that showed up. And for the most part, there was a lot of nicer high-end U.S. coins there, right? So if you were a high-end U.S. coin collector, if you wanted to see $500 to $10,000 type coins, they were there. I mean, you're talking about some really, really nice quality coins that were in that room. Now, of course, I was there, so I brought down the value substantially. So there was something for everybody. But honestly, the other thing that was not there much of was there was not much world, and there was not much paper. Now, I did good with both of those items because I brought both world coins and paper money. And so this is something that has worked for me when I've done the smaller shows. When I've done the PCGS members only show, it was kind of a similar vibe, although that show has had 25 to 35 dealers. It's maybe double the size of this show. You're looking at still a lot of dealers that are bringing high-end US coins en masse. And so there were definitely fewer world and paper money items at that show as well. So if you're going for world and paper money, not as much there, but I hope to be back next year and bring some more of the same. The paper money, let me see here. So the show is in September. The next year, it could be in August through September. They're trying to figure out a date. This is the first time the show has been run in a decade. It used to be a long-standing show, and so they're going to try to grow it. Thanks to Alan Rowe at Northern Nevada Coin for putting the show on. I got to spend some time with him and see his shop, and it's lovely, and meet some other dealers there, and hopefully find a few other guys that are going to come to the show in Tucson. Quite a few of the guys there are already coming to Tucson, Alan and Michael, and we've got All Good Coin. So a bunch of the guys there, Americana, they all come down for the Tucson show. And I hope they bring more guys from SoCal and NoCal with them, because Tucson's going to be, I think, the replacement place for some of you Southern California dealers. You're going to find a really nice spread of coins to come look at. Let's put it that way. So in Northern California too, come on down. Come from San Francisco. We'd love to have you. I heard it's cold there all the time. All right, so the Mint in and of itself is a really cool place. It's a lot more than just the coins. One of the things that I didn't know, I learned about the Nevada press that's there, the #1 press. It actually pressed coins, it minted coins in both San Francisco and Denver in this century. So if you have coins from the 40s and 50s from San Francisco and from Denver, those were probably produced by that same coin press that produced the 1870 Carson City half dollar, right? Like, it's a pretty cool thing actually to think about. Let me see what else was happening here. Talking about, my dealer experience, once again, great to have the customer experience. My sales are probably kind of similar to a mid-size show. I will say, of course, I can do plenty of wholesale there, even with a handful of guys that are there. But I did a decent amount of retail, and it's not going to be as much retail as if I was at the Central State Show. I know at Central State Show, I had a lot of people. We did business with a lot of different people at the Central State Show. I was just busy all the time while I was there. In this show, not as much, not quite as much, but still, it was wonderful to meet everybody. I met musicians. I met people that pulled computers apart. I met farmers. It was fantastic. Thank you to everyone for stopping by and saying hi. I really enjoyed meeting everyone there. All right, some of you wanted to know about the market and how it is doing, how it is done, and I will tell you the same thing, which is the market has cooled as we expected it to, as we've talked about here, but that shouldn't really affect any of you that are still collecting, except for the fact that maybe prices are coming down in your favor if you're buying. So this is the type of thing that some people worry about, but at the end of the day, the market was radically different before COVID, and I mean radically different. And I think COVID really gave us a lot of opportunity to get a lot more collectors in the marketplace. Some of those people will fall off, of course, but also some of the things that were pushed up in the marketplace were going to plateau and fall anyways. And we've talked about here on this channel that very thing where you see Like, for example, Carson City GSA dollars that were a couple $100 and went up to 400 plus are settling back down in that 300 range. And that was expected, right? Because of the big push that we had. Um, Gold and silver are just, going goo goo gaga. Gold, I still see mostly as a one way market where most people are selling gold. I've said this before. I'll just say it. I think gold should be $1,500 an ounce, not 2,600. But that's just one man's viewpoint. I have no idea about how gold or silver gets priced. I say that all the time. But the reality is that there does not seem to be a correlation between the price of gold or silver with the local or national demand on the consumer basis. It doesn't seem to be as consumer driven as it should be. That's why when you had people willing to pay $30 an ounce for silver when it was $20 an ounce, that wasn't consumer driven. I mean, the spot price didn't move, even though obviously it should have moved, right? And same thing with this market where, clearly to me, the price of gold is not consumer driven at this point. But at the same time, here we are. And here we are. All right. What else? Carson City is beautiful. You should visit there. My one complaint is that the mountainside has a C for Carson City and not a CC, and it should have two. We can petition to get that done maybe in the next year or two so that we know where we're at. Once again, the locals don't think of it that way, but the coin geeks, we all think of it that way. We're like, you need two C's on that mountain. It's easy to get into there. People obviously from the Central Valley of California and Sacramento area can all drive in. Also, if you fly southwest, it's pretty easy hop, skip, and a jump into Reno, and then you drive about half an hour down south. The food was great. Tried a bunch of different little local places. Had some lovely food down there, and the car rental experience was good. Although I was going to do the rental experience with a Toyota Corolla Cross, and I got to just say this, they look nice from the outside, but small cars I'm not used to anymore. And the only thing I can say about a small car is that it parks well, and I'll have to admit, listen, guys, I'm getting too old to not admit this. I'm not good at parking. I'm just not. Okay. So it's really good to have a small car for me because I can park it just beautifully every single time. I will say I get very annoyed with all of the drive assist stuff that's on there with the beeping when you're getting close to a parking something. I'm like, well, you've got to get that close to park it. What are you talking about right now? Why are you beeping at me? That was frustrating. Also, small cars have some small car problems, like the visor that's like this big and it moves like this far, and it has an extended thing that comes out, but it's like this big. I'm like, dude, you can't block the sun with that. What are you talking about right now? Leather interior? No, come on, guys. My goodness. Some of you people, you haven't been in Arizona long enough, but I couldn't have that car here because that will melt your flesh off during the summertime. Just melt your flesh off. And during the wintertime, if it's actually cool in the morning or your seats are cold, you slide off of them. I don't know. So you guys can all fight over whether or not people should have leather or not. That's the next discussion here. All right, guys. Well, I hope to see you at the Tucson show. I also hope to see you at the Carson City show next year. God willing, I'll make it, you'll make it, and we'll have a good time. Thanks so much for watching I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.